Podcast. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. We are broadcasting live from Studio B here in the CHGO studios. We apologize for the delay. We were supposed to be up at 2 p.m., but we had a couple things that we had to get worked out here in Studio B. CHGO is not even a month old, so we still got some kinks to work out, but we are excited to be bringing this show to you live today at 2 p.m., and we are hoping to be live every day this week, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, live at 2 p.m. So thank you for dealing with the kinks and delays today. We do appreciate your patience. We're going to have Herb Lawrence on the show today. We're going to have Vinnie Duber on the show today. We're going to just go out to them in little spurts. Herb's out in Nashville. Vinnie's out in Arizona. So we're working this out so everyone can be on the show today. And you'll hear from all of our guys on the CHGO White Sox beat. You can follow Vinnie on Twitter at Vinnie Duber, and let's go out to him in Arizona. Vinnie, my guy, you've been watching baseball in nice sunny weather. I'm jealous of you. How's it been? How was the weekend? No signings, but you still got to see some ball played by the Sox.
Absolutely. I'm about to, too. Again, here we're about 20 minutes away from Sox-Dodgers here. Broadcasting to you right now live from Camelback Ranch, where the two roommates are going to be squaring off here in just a little bit. So, but we're seeing some guys getting into games. I'm sure we'll talk about some of the highlights coming up here. But, baseball's back, baby. It's nice to be seeing that green grass out there.
Yeah, let's chat about today's game. What roommates? Who we got on the mound today for the Sox and Dodgers?
The Sox and the Dodgers share the complex here at Camelback.
Oh, right.
Ranch.
Okay, that's
they're all roommates, Sean.
That one's starting at 3:05. The Sox saw the Rockies on Sunday. They saw the Guardians on Saturday, and then you saw the Cubs on Thursday as well. Any of those games that stick out to you the most out of the three games that you've seen so far?
Certainly the one that was maybe the most memorable was that one, or forgettable, depending on what side of the ball you were on, was the one on Saturday with Cleveland, because, man, that was just a shellacking with the Guardians winning that one. I think 11-2 was the final. But, a couple of minor league pitchers getting blown up there for the White Sox. Nothing too terrible to read into it. I'll tell you what, as I move this camera around here, I'm sorry about that, but Yoelqui Cespedes has looked really good so far. A couple of home runs. He threw a runner out at third base from center field yesterday. So, I think he's back in there again today in Tony La Russa's spring lineup. So, absolutely. He's been a highlight for sure.
Yeah, Cespedes now 2 home runs. You mentioned the runner thrown out at third, and I saw him saying that it felt good, and it's good to be on a roster with big leaguers, is what he said. Any more insight on what he's shown, and how's he looked in center field, and the home runs? How impressive have they looked? That first one you saw was nice, huh?
Yeah, the first one that was the other day. That one was really good. That was that Cub game, I think, last Thursday. But yeah, that one went a mile here at Camelback Ranch, no doubt about it. He's looked good. He's looked good all around. And, obviously he was in that minor league camp, so he's had a little bit more time here in Arizona than a lot of the actual big leaguers have. And so I think, Tony kind of rewarding those guys who were here during the minor league camp, or, getting the big league guys in by getting some of these minor league guys some at-bats and some starts here. And Cespedes is making the most of his opportunity. I don't think he's a guy that's anybody. I don't think anybody thinks he's going to be the right fielder. So you don't even have to ask me that one. But let's put it this way: a good spring may be the difference between him starting at Double-A or starting at Triple-A. So I think for him, this is a really big deal. And even though he said that his goal was to play in the majors this year, he also is realistic and said, I don't know if I ever expected this kind of thing from the minor leagues. So I'm sorry that my hair is blown in my face. It turns out no amount of hairspray is a match for the winds in the desert here in Arizona.
I found that out, that no hairspray is enough, and I think hairspray ultimately killed my hair. So don't use too much of it. You got nice locks. 24 years old for Yoelqui. So I mean, he is at least more advanced than a typical Double-A or Triple-A guy, but definitely needs some seasoning in the minors. Let's talk about a guy who had very little seasoning in the minors, but produced well in his first season. Andrew Vaughn, he had a home run in that first Cubs game that you saw on Thursday, went 2 for 4 against the Rockies, and he played 3 different positions, playing right field, left field, and first base. Why don't you talk about Vaughn's first start to spring training? What stood out from him?
Absolutely. I mean, I think he's just picking up where he left off kind of thing. I think everybody described him last year as one of those professional hitter types, a guy who's just going to go up, give you a good at-bat, and get a result that's a positive one. And then talking to him, a couple days ago here at camp, he said that last year, that's the first time he's ever played 162 games in a season, and it caught up with him. You know, we saw at the end of the year where he was struggling at the plate. That length of that season and the lack of experience playing that many games in a row really caught up to him, and that was part of the reason that he said things didn't go so hot at the end there. So I think you get that experience under your belt, and you should expect him to have an even better year than he did last year. You talk about the positional versatility, and it's become almost laughable. I think Tony was asked about that earlier today, you know, the three positions in yesterday's spring game. And he said, man, I didn't get him into second base and center field like I wanted to. Yeah, so a nice joke there. But, listen, Vaughn is a versatile player, and that only helps, right? I mean, that even if his bat is the thing that you want in the lineup, he no longer is just limited to spelling Jose Abreu or being the DH like we thought he was going to be at this time a year ago. He's a corner outfielder. He's a legitimate corner outfielder, and I think that is where you're going to see the most of him. But, you know, don't freak out, Emmy. I know Herb's not on yet, but Leury Garcia probably going to get a lot of time in right field too as the roster currently looks. So I really think Andrew Vaughn is going to be one of those guys who gets into as many games as possible for these White Sox. They see him as a long-term piece in the middle of that batting order. This is just the beginning for him, and having a number of positions at which Tony La Russa can play him to make sure his bat keeps developing is definitely a plus.
Yeah, we've seen him play second base. I was looking to find a certain video, and I remember you tweeting out the actual lineup from last year when he played second base for the White Sox. But there was a video of him doing some work at second base in spring training, and someone asked him if he'd be playing the outfield this year. And he responded, we'll see, wherever the coaches want me. So obviously he's willing to play, first, second, wherever he'll get at bats. Do you truly expect to see more Vaughn at second base, or do you think that was just a one-time thing, or maybe in certain emergencies? What's the expectation that he might actually move into the infield and not at first base?
Yeah, emergency would be the word
okay.
that would come to mind. You're basically asking me, do I expect to see Leury Garcia pitch this year? The answer might be yes, but something would have to go really wrong in order for things to get to that point. Right. Andrew Vaughn at second base is a little bit more of a chuckling point at this time. But listen, the guy can play both corner outfield spots, both corner infield spots. That's pretty good for a guy that you thought was going to be basically limited to DH last year. So, no, I don't see him at second base. I don't see him in center field. That's just going to become a recurring joke for Tony La Russa. But you got to remember, too, to address that tweet that you showed and the practice that we saw. These guys practice all over the place. I mean, for years, Jose Abreu takes ground balls at shortstop every day.
Ooh.
It doesn't mean Jose Abreu is going to be playing any shortstop, though. It's a way for him. It's a thing that the coaches have developed to get him to stay agile, be able to make all the moves that he needs to make at first. Because if he's making them at short, he can definitely make them at first. I think that's the idea. So these guys get worked out all over the field, and it's more of a working on your conditioning and working on your nimbleness and your ability and your agility more than it is getting ready to be thrown in there in a game situation.
That's great insight. Any other positions TA practices at? Because his defense has gotten better and better. Like, do they throw him out in the outfield at all to catch fly balls out there? Because obviously his athleticism, he has some range.
They don't.
Okay.
He stays at shortstop, and I think that's kind of the idea. Is if you need to improve at shortstop, you better keep working at shortstop, kind of thing. So yeah,
right.
Obviously, I know. Obviously they like I said, they work guys out all over the place, and they make sure that they can make any play that they need to. Heck, you could have shifts where Tim is on the other side of second base, right? So this is not. It's no longer just your feet are anchored into the ground at the position that you got to play, because you can be moving all over the field. But Tim Anderson works very hard at becoming a better shortstop, and he does that by practicing shortstop.
That's good to know. You mentioned Vaughn getting his bat into the lineup as many times as possible. La Russa also said the same thing about Grandal, that they want him at DH even when he's not catching. Any more insight into that? And what's the idea of opening day? Are we going to see Zavala, Counts, and Grandal on the roster? Are we going to see just Sebi and Grandal? I know Zavala is now out of options, so he can't be sent down. Looking at that catcher spot, especially with the way they want to use Grandal this year, what do you expect the roster to look like catcher-wise?
It's a good question. I think that you kind of made the most important note there, which is Zavala is out of options, and so I think that's maybe gives him a leg up in this backup catcher battle, which is really one of the only position battles going on at camp right now. between him, Collins, and obviously Tony keeps mentioning, Carlos Perez like he did all last offseason too, or last spring too. So I don't know if that is going to mean that, both Zavala and Collins will be off the roster come opening day. I think it would definitely go to one of those guys just because of their experience. But defense is a key, Tony keeps saying. And so, yeah, I think Zavala's probably got the edge there just because of the realities of the roster. But, I think a lot of people are waiting to see if, because of the shortened spring, the roster is going to be bigger than 26 guys. Right now it's at 26, but I don't know if anybody's expecting, those numbers to go up. I think a lot of people think that they might. So I don't know if that would mean 3 catchers. I doubt it. But, I think the idea is that Grandal would be catching the vast majority of the time. I think his body's probably in a better spot than it was a year ago. You'll remember he first tweaked that knee one of the first days of spring training. So he is a guy who was dealing with health things all last year. It might have been a bigger factor last year than it would be this year. But, yeah, Grandal obviously had one of the best bats on the team last year, and I think they want to be able to make sure that even on days when he's not behind the plate, he can still be in the lineup.
Is there any updates on Grandal's knee? I mean, how's he been? Are there any concerns, any setbacks or ramp-up issues with him, or is he just full go?
According to him, he's good to go.
Okay.
According to him, he says everything feels fine after that procedure. So obviously it was a year-long thing for him last year dealing with that. If that is not the case this year, you saw what he did last year with a bum knee. If it's not the case this year, you should only expect better.
Yeah, that's exciting. Let's move to the pitchers because there's some guys I want to mention. First off, let's start with a guy we've talked about before. You said you really, I think it was Thursday, were impressed with Garrett Crochet. He got some work on Sunday. Anything new with Crochet? How'd he look in the first, live batters in-game situation that you saw?
Yeah, I wish I could give you a little bit better insight. We were actually on our way down the tunnel to talk to Liam Hendricks when Garrett Crochet was out there pitching yesterday. So didn't get quite as much eye on him as I would have liked to. But he's looked good all spring, and I mean, I think he's a guy who is really kind of benefiting from being here and benefiting from knowing that he's going to be a part of this big league bullpen. We talked so much about what are they going to do with him? Are they going to put him in the minors to work on him being a starter? Are they going to leave him in the bullpen? And he's too valuable to that bullpen to take him out of it right now. He should be considered one of the key guys back there with a lot of the other veterans that they've brought in. I think, when you talk about Garrett, they're going to try to use him in a way maybe that was similar to Kopech last year. And I think I brought this up the other day, but, he's one of only 2 lefties in the pen right now. So if they, him and Aaron Bummer. So
right.
If when it comes to throwing him 2 or 3 innings, when they did that with Kopech, they could sit him down for 3 days and you still had all these arms that you could throw out there. If they do that with Crochet, they might, paint themselves into a corner with not having really much to throw in the way of a left-hander, let's say the next night, right, if he's unavailable. So it's going to be an interesting puzzle that they're going to have to put together with Garrett Crochet because they got to make sure that they're not killing the pen, but this is a guy who they think could be a long-term starter also.
Right, and you mentioned Hendricks. He walked 3 guys, which is, an anomaly for him. He's getting a lot of work so far out of the regular guys, 2 innings pitched so far. Anything concerning about him, or you think it's just, he's getting the cobwebs off of not pitching for, 5+ months?
The way he described it yesterday is that sometimes he slips into this mentality thing where he's, to sum it up, it seemed like he was nibbling. You know what I mean? If you're talking about it, it seemed like that. Basically, though, Liam Hendricks doesn't nibble. He throws so hard all the time. But the idea being that instead of just trying to blow it past guys, which is where he has the most success, he's trying to, predict what the guy is going to do and get them to swing at something that, maybe they shouldn't. He described it as trying to trick them rather than just overpowering them. And it's something he said he slips into every once in a while, and it's something that he doesn't like to slip into. So that was the thing yesterday as he described it. He likes to get into these games early because he gets a little bit amped up by the competition more so than throwing in, on the backfields where things don't matter as much. The stakes aren't as high. So he's a guy that definitely should be expected to be just fine and his usual dominant self.
Sure.
But yeah, yesterday was obviously not a good day, and he knew as soon as he stepped off the field why.
Yeah, and it sounds like he was, I don't know if they say it down there, but it sounds like he was being cheeky, maybe that's more of a British word. But 2 other guys that I want to bring up, 2 additions to the Sox, Vince Velasquez and Kyle Crick pitched. Let's go to Vince. He started one of the games, 2 innings pitched. I heard he got into issues in the second inning, but how did he look overall to you?
Oh, he looked pretty good, actually, I think. I
Okay.
mean, you saw a little bit more base runners there in that second inning. Yeah, that was definitely, there were guys getting on base and stuff, but, ground balls and, getting through the infield and stuff like that. I mean, really, he probably should have given up a run. There was a play coming home on a ground ball with the bases loaded, I think, where Jake Berger threw high, and Yasmani Grandal had to jump up to catch it, and it looked like the runner slid in safe, but a bad call at home plate, and the White Sox and Vince Velasquez benefited from it. So, I think Velasquez looked all right. He pitched himself out of that jam, right, which is what you want, right? You see a guy get into some hard times, you want him to be able to get out of it rather than giving up a ton of runs like some of the minor league guys were the other day. So he's got a lot of experience, and obviously the numbers haven't been great, but the White Sox are very pleased with the stuff and the experience that he's had in the big leagues. So I think that he's going to be a guy who, is leaned on right away, and maybe not in I don't think he's going to be going out there and starting 20 games or anything, but he's going to be a guy that, I mean, listen, we talked to Dallas Keuchel today, and Dallas's assessment of where Michael Kopech is at is that they might need 3-4 bullpen guys every day that Kopech pitches, just because he's not going to be ready to throw one of those big long workloads right away. And if he's only going 4 or 5 innings, you're going to have to sap the bullpen, and a guy like Velasquez that can give you multiple innings is going to be very valuable in that situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And if they're stretching out Crochet the same way, that's another role that he could play into. With Velasquez, this might be an impossible question I'm asking you, because I was trying to find more in-depth box scores and like pitch counts and stuff like that. But any word on what his repertoire might be? I know people are thinking, if he becomes more of a fastball-heavy pitcher, he might have more success. Any words on like how many pitches and pitch types he threw during spring training? I don't know if they give you that type of data or not.
I'm sure he's been asked about it a few times. I probably have to go back and look at these specific quotes to make sure I could give you some accurate information on that. But, I think this is a guy that Ethan Katz is very excited about working with, and a guy that, we saw what Katz was able to do with Rodon and Cease last year, really kind of simplifying things for them and getting them on the right track that they needed to be on. And so I think that should only give White Sox fans confidence when it comes to Velasquez and even Kopech, two guys that Katz is going to work really closely with this year. Katz has talked very highly about Velasquez and the stuff that he's got and being able to work with him. So I think that, the best we can say is that he's in good hands, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And two, you look at when Giolito, revamped his stuff in 2019, Cease, Rodon. I mean, they really had their best starts, late April. So it might take a while for Velasquez and this stuff really start to, the work that they're doing to start showing. So it might take some time there. Just interested in following that and if they're changing up his repertoire. One final guy I want to ask you about, Kyle Crick. How has he looked? Have you been able to see a lot from him? Former Pirate, former high prospect in the Giants organization, pitched for the Pirates since I think 2013 now. He signed a minor league deal with the White Sox. He pitched an inning against the in that bad Guardian game. Didn't give up a hit, walk, or run, so good for him on that. But how is the control, if anything? Do you have any notes on that?
Yeah, again, haven't gotten be able to watch him too closely. You're
Right.
focusing on the big league guys and the guys that everybody's really interested in, guys like Kopech and Kimbrel and stuff like that. But I'll tell you this, that big league experience is very valuable. And I think everybody that follows a baseball team knows that bullpen arms get churned around. And there's, I think they instituted some new rules with the new CBA to try and slow down that roster churn. But guys get hurt, guys don't pitch well, and other guys come up. So, I mean, if Kyle Crick is still here, when the season starts, if he's still in Charlotte, let's say, and somebody doesn't do well, he's got to be one of the first guys that you would call, I would imagine.
Right.
So to have that depth is, especially this year with the ramp up being so short, is very important. And I think you can look at that as a positive signing, just in terms of being able to give the Sox some options when they will eventually arise throughout the season.
Great job dealing with those questions. I know I went a little bit deep cut there, but the one frustrating thing is like they had the Cubs game on TV, but like the Rockies and Guardians game wasn't. So we haven't been able to watch some of these actions. So we gotta get the report, but it's tough because you're also doing your other job, which is reporting. So when Hendricks goes and speaks, you need to go listen to that man and not watch Kyle Crick, see if he's gonna make the White Sox roster. So thank you for dealing with those questions. Final one, what's the band shirt of the day? I wore a band shirt. I wore a Springsteen shirt in honor of you. So what you rocking?
I appreciate that. We don't have one on today.
Oh.
I'll tell you this. I put on when I got to when I woke up this morning, I put on my Elvis Costello shirt.
Nice.
And you know what? It must have been a while since I wore that one because it was a little tight. So that was what the answer was going to be. It looks like I maybe need to go on a post-spring diet when I get back to Chicago. But I am wearing a shirt of my favorite bar here in Phoenix. So, I'm thematically appropriate for still being here in Arizona.
Absolutely. Well, enjoy the last couple of days, Vinny. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Appreciate the updates. Appreciate you dealing with me, grilling you on some of the deep cuts from Sox spring training. But thanks for dealing with this. Have fun at the Sox and Dodgers, and we appreciate you.
Sounds good. Hey, if anybody knows me and my music taste, I appreciate a deep cut, so that's okay. No problem there.
Absolutely. Thanks, Vinny. You can follow Vinny on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. He's going to have spring training updates for you until he's out there, until he leaves, until he's back in the studio with us. So Vinny's been doing some great work. You could check out his work at allchgo.com. A couple free articles out there. He talked to Tim Anderson, had exclusive quotes about Jose Abreu's future. Interesting stuff, too. Tim Anderson's got a now 5-part documentary that's being created and produced by the White Sox. That's coming out, I believe, on March 22nd. So Vinny's got some exclusive words from the man himself, and that one's free to everybody right now on allchgo.com. But if you are a member of allchgo.com, you can read all of Vinny's great work and great articles. He'll have more news and notes after today. He usually posts his stuff around 6 or 7 p.m. So you'll have some great content from Vinny. And if you want to become a member of All CHGO, you can go to allchgo.com. We're going to give you the podcast for free. We're going to give you the live shows for free. We're going to give you the post-game shows for free. But if you want dope merch, you want access to our exclusive CHGO Lounge, that's our Discord channel where you can chat with everybody from CHGO and all of our members. And if you want to have I'm blanking, Stephen. Access to all of our written articles, you can go to allchgo.com and sign up to become a member today. And also, we are supported and heavily supported by our friends at PointsBet. Today's show is brought to you by PointsBet. Use promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. That is the best way to support CHGO. Download the PointsBet app. Use code CHGO when you sign up. And if you do that right now, you'll get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. The code is CHGO. But that's not it. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership. Again, we talked to you about that already. It's going to unlock all of that web content. You'll get a free t-shirt, and you'll get access into our CHGO Lounge. That's $2,000 in free bets, a free CHGO membership, and a free t-shirt from the CHGO Locker, all for making a first-time deposit of $50 with PointsBet. If you have any questions, you can email pointsbet@allchgo.com and we'll help you out. PointsBet is your home for live in-play betting, and it just got even better. Introducing PointsBet's new feature, live college basketball same-game parlays. We have CHGO Bets Daily, which uses PointsBet, and I was doing some live same-game parlays with PointsBet, and it saved me money. And the coolest part, too, is you can boost your odds. If you like your plus 172 odds, you get a daily boost on PointsBet. You could boost them up to 200. You can boost your potential winnings with PointsBet, and the best part, too, you can sign up right now on the mobile app, download the PointsBet app, register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. And plus, during PointsBet's Match Madness, all users can earn up to $100 in free bets. During each round, just place a $50 pregame wager and get a free $20 live bet to be used for that round. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. Hi, Herb. Oh, Herb. We got Herbie, Uncle. All right, we're figuring it out. We're going to go out to Herb Lawrence. Herb is out in Nashville. You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. On today's show, we got an icebreaker for you. Herb and I got to get used to this whole remote thing. So we got a question about one of the big free agents that are still out there. We'll also talk about Andrew Vaughn. We mentioned the fact that he's playing right field. He's playing left field. He's playing first base. So we'll talk about his importance to the Sox in 2022. And we'll also chat about some of these younger outfield. Yoelqui Cespedes, we mentioned that he had 2 home runs so far in spring training.
I'm good now.
And then Herb's good now. And then also we'll talk about Oscar Colas and the expectations of when those guys will be in a White Sox uniform. But we got our guy out in Nashville, Herb Lawrence. You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How's Nashville?
It's great. It's a beautiful day out here. It's been awesome. Food's as expected, barbecue, chicken, all that good stuff. And the liveliness of Broadway is undefeated.
Yeah, have you been enjoying it? I didn't. I'm not a big bar goer, so like I went down to Broadway. I got the barbecue. It was great, but I didn't check out too many. The only thing I checked out on Broadway was the Johnny Cash Museum. What have you guys done?
Yeah. I mean, we've done a lot of things. Firstly, we went to a place called Martin's Barbecue when we first got here on Saturday. As expected, it was great. Like we just go, or people who have been here tell us to go, and Martin's was highly recommended. Then we eventually went to trying to think the Husk, a place that's on the hill over here.
Mm,
It's renowned like breakfast spot. So I could not recommend that place more. It is the
nice.
highlight of the trip so far. Like brunch, breakfast, if you like those two things, enjoy Husk here in Nashville. But we've just been eating and then going to see different sites. She's right now at a place called like the Hatch Museum or something like that. It's where you get like those old school posters made of your uh, I guess if you want to put your own self on there, but Elvis played here at the Troubadour in 1924. You can get that put on a poster if you want.
Yeah, I think that's what Vinny has. The Vinny has those posters all up in his apartment. So we gotta talk about Hatch posters with Vin next time he's in studio. But glad you're here and having some good eats down in Nashville. I mean, that's some of the best food I've ever had. So glad you guys are enjoying that. Tell Courtney I say what up. But you ready to talk some White Sox baseball here?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's jump into the icebreaker. You wanted to talk about Michael Conforto. Carlos Correa signs with the Twins, which I know you're happy about. But the only right fielder free agent left, Jorge Soler's gone, Eddie Rosario's gone. I guess Tommy Pham's still available, but Michael Conforto is still out there. Why hasn't Michael Conforto signed with any team yet, let alone the White Sox? Herb, you got any theories?
Two reasons I can think of. The report, I think Josh Nelson tweeted out the other day that he might be still unvaccinated. And while the White Sox have all their minor leaguers vaccinated, it was like a verdict, an edict sent down through White Sox management. And there was a tweet right there from Andrew Vaughn, but that wasn't the one I was looking for. But there it is. Michael Conforto is not vaccinated for COVID. That might be a reason he hasn't signed with anyone. This is an article he posted from Yahoo. So, yes, I can understand hesitation from the White Sox for not and other teams in the league not having to deal with that type of stress. White Sox only go to Toronto, I believe, one time this year, which is a city where you cannot play baseball if you're not vaccinated. So you'll be missing those 3 to 4 games. If you're AL Central, AL West team, or teams that don't play in Toronto, I don't know if this stops you from getting into Mike Conforto, which brings me to my other point. He might be asking for way too much money. He might be asking for upwards of where Chris Bryant landed at $26 million. And I don't know about you. I don't see Michael Conforto as a guy going forward that's going to post the same numbers as Chris Bryant. So I don't think he should get paid as such.
I don't know. Brian hasn't been that good, to be honest with you. Like, you look at the guys that signed, like Castellanos and Schwarber, like, they're all bat, but their bats have been, proven to last, where I'm honestly a little bit worried about Bryant. Like, he didn't really revitalize
Colorado?
his swing in San Francisco. He didn't get that much better. I mean, he had only had, like a little bit of a run in Chicago, and outside of that, I found him to be a little bit disappointing recently.
I get what you're saying. He wasn't the MVP that he was before.
Yeah.
But he still was a pretty good baseball player when he was healthy, I believe. I know the numbers have dwindled, but he's an above average hitter, and the versatility is not a thing that should be sneezed over. It's a big thing. Playing third, playing right, playing center, playing first, anywhere in the outfield, he is good. So that is a very valuable skill. Like if the Colorado Rockies, who signed their young player, I forgot his name, is it McMahon?
McMahon, yeah. Ryan McMahon.
Yeah, if they want him to play third base, they can do that and say, hey, Chris, how about left field today? How about center? How about right? Type of thing. That is very valuable. Mike Conforto, for the most part, for the White Sox, will play right field or will play designated hitter if he's signed. So he shouldn't get the money that Chris Bryant got. And he has never been a rookie of the year. He's never been the MVP. Those people at the Colorado Rockies think Chris Bryant can recreate those numbers he had in his first, second, and third years. So I can see that happening. Can you see Mike Conforto being an MVP candidate?
I know I can't, and I agree with you. The more I looked into it, I think I was being too harsh on KB. So I agree with you that that 26 million is astronomical for Conforto. But I think that they need to get creative at this point. Like we saw that the Twins got creative enough to land Carlos Correa, and I don't think anyone was really expecting that. I think that you could honestly go to Michael Conforto right now and say, hey, we're going to give you $60 million over 3 years. After every single year, there's an opt-out, and we'll start you this year at $24 million. We'll go down to $20 million, and we'll go down to $16 million. You don't want to take that money, but it's insurance if you want it. And, if you perform like you think you're going to, buy after 2022, we'll figure out, maybe one of the Cespedes or Colas or Vaughn or Sheets or Engel are ready to take over right field. But at this point, I don't understand really how a deal hasn't been made, because it feels like teams are willing to get creative enough to sign him. I agree with you though. 26 million is definitely too much for Conforto, where, 20 million I think is probably his baseline maybe.
Yeah. And I think too, while it's probably looked at as the public as player options being good for the player only, I think player options are the best thing for the teams, because your player is not going to opt out. He's bad. If he's a subpar player and that next money, like you said, is 24 this year and then 20 next year, and Conforto's like, well, I get 20 somewhere else. If I played so crappy in Chicago, effectively, it could be a 1-year deal. And if Conforto is a guy who is an MVP candidate, you want him to leave. You want him to try to get more money than that. And yes, you'll be in the hunt to sign him too. But I see a 1-year deal or a 3-year deal with options after each year as a win-win for both sides, because Conforto late in the spring training right now is probably not going to get the maybe 5, 6, 7-year deal that he was looking for at the beginning of this, but maybe a 1-year deal to prove himself, especially in a big time market like Chicago and a team that's competing, would be very enticing. And then the 2 extra years on the backside gives him comfort to know that, hey, even if this year doesn't go well, I don't have to press too much. I'll get 20 million next year to make up my money there. And if I do well there, I can get back out while I'm 30. I'm still relatively young in my prime, and other team will pay me more than the 16 million that they're paying me in the 3rd year.
Yeah, and going back to the tweet that Josh put up, I think that Conforto was the Mets player representation or rep for the PA. So it would make sense if he said, he leans towards personal choice, just because that's the Players Association stance, is that they don't have forced mandates where, the White Sox can mandate their entire organization, including minor leaguers, to get the vaccine, because there is no union. So that may be the only thing that I could think of with Conforto, where, maybe the vaccination thing isn't too big of a worry. I want to at least give him the benefit of the doubt there, but it is something that I could see the White Sox maybe not even entertaining, just because of the fact that, hey, we might meet up Toronto in the ALDS, and we might even have this guy that we just signed for $20+ million for a year for, our playoff series, or at least 3 games of our playoff series. I mean, that could be a huge blow. And even if, New York and state's the same thing, Judge might be not able to play for the Yankees. And, if Conforto signs with the Sox, he might not be able to play in New York too, if he isn't vaccinated.
Yeah, that would be really sad. I, as a person who is vaccinated and believes in vaccinations, thinks that Michael Conforto should do it. I, as a fan, think that the White Sox have their right as a organization to set the standard that they want. But I think sometimes if this is an issue, you might have to weigh it against the opposite. So what is the worst thing that can happen with Michael Conforto coming to us as an unvaccinated player? Let's say he is. Your scenario of missing games in the ALDS or ALCS would be detrimental. And that would not be good for him. And it would not be good for the White Sox, losing your starting right fielder, especially if he's helped you throughout the year be a champion. I think you roll dice on that. If that is the only thing holding you back,
right,
you roll dice on that. Like, you say, okay, I'm not cool with it, but those 3 games to Toronto will be tough in the regular season. He'll probably be playing all the rest of the games for the most part on our schedule. Those will be pretty much rest days in the middle of the season.
And I don't know what it's like to field in a dome, but maybe it's easier for Vaughn to play right field there.
Yeah, we'll hope we'll meet them in the ALCS. That means we have some success, and we'll cross that bridge when we get there, or if we get there. if I'm the White Sox as a strong proponent of vaccinations, I'm signing him. I'm gonna kill Michael Conforto every time I see him and he misses a game 100%. That's still gonna happen. But if I'm the Sox, that's not holding me back as a personal choice of mine putting it on my team. I got to make the best decisions for my team. But if the Sox think it is more of a moral thing, that might be a bigger issue for them, because I don't think necessarily it's a moral thing. Mike Conforto doesn't want to get vaxxed. That's on him. And I don't think that will pass over to the rest of the team and create some clubhouse chemistry that will be detrimental to a victory.
I want to bring up this comment from Joe Tucci. He said, I'd rather have Sean Manaea than Michael Conforto. You mentioned that you weren't expecting a deal this weekend, but you thought that a deal would happen last week. Now with the air kind of clearing with Minnesota, it seems like they are truly in on Manaea, or at least some type of pitcher to upgrade this team. If you have to pick Manaea or Conforto, which one are you leaning for the Sox? Which one do you think is more of an important need for them?
Starting pitching, always. So I would say Sean Manaea, but I don't think, let's just clear it, it's an either or situation. They can have both.
True.
They have the room for both, especially if they get rid of Craig Kimbrell. But if we're either or in this, Sean Manaea, I think he's a pitcher that's going to give you 175. What did he do last year? 160, something like that. I gave you a 3.7 ERA, a guy from the left side who's only progressing in his career from the area. I think he's a region rat.
Yep.
So fans would love him. I think that he, at this point, does more for the White Sox futures than what Michael Conforto does. Michael Conforto just brings that lineup full swing, and there's really no holes except for the second base spot. Then you can have your platoon at designated hitter with Vaughn and Sheets, and probably be a much better team right there, because those guys can only play that one position and not be out of position in right field, hurting you there.
Yeah, Kevin mentions that he wants Montas over Manaea, and he wants both of those over Conforto. I'm down with lefties, though, so give me Manaea or Conforto. And you're right, the Sox have the room to add either of them. They have the prospects to go out and get Sean Manaea because it's not that large of a price tag, and they do have the money to go and spend to get Michael Conforto. And if you have the money to drop and you want to support CHGO, the best way to do that is by downloading the PointsBet app and using the code CHGO when you sign up. Not only are you going to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000, but if you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, you'll receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content, and you'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. If you're looking to read our guy Vinny's work, a CHGO membership will unlock all of that. If you're looking to get a dope shirt like our new Sky shirt, you can do that all by making a first-time $50 or more deposit when you use the code CHGO on PointsBet. If you have any questions, email pointsbet@allchgo and we will help you out. And in case you missed it, online signup is available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. You'll be signing up with the fastest sportsbook, easier than ever, so you could start living your bet life in seconds. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700. So let's get into our 2 topics today. I want to start off with Andrew Vaughn. We talked to Vinny before you joined the show. He had a home run against the Cubs. He went 2 for 4 against the Rockies on Sunday, and he played right field, left field, and first base. So this kid showing a lot of versatility, showing the great bat. What's his role in 2022? Because we chatted with Vinny about this too. I mean, he played second base last year. He's taking second base grounders. Vinny said not to read into that too much, but he's still practicing second base grounders at the current moment. So what do you think his role is right now? Do you think he's going to be a right fielder DH at the start of the season?
I think right fielder DH. I think we're going to go with that one because that's the role. That's the positions that are open right now with the White Sox spending money at second base with both Lurie and Josh Harrison there. Unless there's an injury, I see most of his starts coming from the designated hitter spot, as there's more right-handed. They could platoon him either way, but I would say his more role would be. I'm trying to think about that. Who's a better right fielder? Andrew Vaughn, I guess, played outfield more last year, so I would say Andrew Vaughn's the more starts in right than designated hitter, because Gavin Sheets looks like he is a Jim Thome / Travis Hafner clone. So designated hitter is perfect for him. He was born for this role. So yeah, as I said before, Andrew Vaughn, Sheets, and Engel in the aggregate as a player will be a fine right fielder, probably a 2-3 WAR, a nice player that you can go along with. But I just qualm with not finishing off the team the correct way, getting a person that can field, that's played a right field for years and has understood what the winds do to the ball, how a bat comes off a right-hander's bat as different as a left-hander, conditions, all those things that you learn just by playing the game and playing in major league outfields. So even though he got 20, 30 starts out in there and right and left, I'm still not 100% comfortable with Andrew Vaughn and Sheets out there playing right field. Now, if you told me we're going to get a healthy Adam Engel, I would have him out there for the majority of right field because we know his bat plays, but availability, will he be ready to play? Will he not be hurt? His hamstring be off the bone again?
Right, yeah, and Bob Walker's asking, what about Engel playing right field? He's still on the roster. He's still on the roster. The issue is just he's been banged up a ton. He had shoulder rehabilitation. I think he has like 5 hooks in his shoulders right now, keeping his shoulder together. So, I mean, he's had a very, very...
good. 5 hooks?
I think I could be reading that wrong. It was a tweet from Daryl, so I can find what the Flying Dutchman said about it. But let me re-up it. But I know he's still rehabbing from his injury, so it's like Engel can play a great right field, but is he healthy enough to have the speed that he usually shows in a White Sox uniform? And can he continue his at-bats? I know that we got blank names saying that Michael Conforto is a 255 career hitter and hit 232 last year. Like, yeah, and since 2017, over 2,000 at-bats, he's been 27% better than an average hitter. So, like, you can look at average only, but he's also, a great part of Conforto's bat is the fact that he can walk and the fact that he is very patient at the plate and that he can draw, base on balls to be a very balanced hitter. But with Engel, like, I just worry that he's going to not stay healthy enough. And then, let's say he gets injured, then you're talking about, Travis Hafner and Jim Thome being one of the right fielders that you could throw out there. And then Andrew Vaughn, a guy that, he broke down after 162 last year. He couldn't handle it. So I know the White Sox want to get his bat in the lineup as many days as possible, but I don't know if it's, if he'll be ready for another 162. Are you concerned about Vaughn's health at all going into the second year? Or do you think that, he said that he strengthened his core during the offseason. Do you think that will help him with the back issues that ended up flaring up around August?
I mean, back issues really never go away, but I think that going through the 127 starts that he had last year, as he said, it's the most baseball he's ever played. And remember, coming off a year where he didn't play baseball at all, not at all in 2020, not a competitive game. So that was a lot for him to go from the single A level to the major league level in 1 year. And those numbers, while you might not you, Sean Royal, you might not think they're great, they're awesome from that jump that he did and playing how many games that he did for a team that was competing like the White Sox. It's a different thing when the lights are on and people are looking at you to perform and to get a job done. For a rookie that did what he did, I said it was an exemplary year. Now, the second year, he now knows how long the season is. He's felt it in his body. He's talked to people. He's gone probably with another veteran to work out, to get ready for the grind of the season. And luckily for him and most major league players, we've cut down 3 weeks of spring training. So that's less wear and tear on your body in the hot Arizona sun day in, day out. Only 3.5 weeks out there. So I think he'll be ready for the line grind of a season. Now, if the pitchers see what Andrew Vaughn did last year and adjust to him, there's going to be a sophomore slump. There will be something where you're like, oh, God, is this guy ready? Should we send him down to the minors? No, he's here to stay on the major league level because he can hit at the major league level. I think you'll see probably a progression from his batting average, which we don't talk about much anymore. He'll probably be a 285 to 295 hitter in his career. But where you're going to see the jump at is his slugging. It was just below 400. He can hit, and you saw that he can hit for a big-time power. That was his rookie year. Now we can understand what the pitchers are trying to do to him, a little bit better in body conditioning and all those good things, a full off season to get ready for this season. I think he's going to be a 500 slugging guy in his career because you can see the bat plays and he finds the barrel of the ball all the time. So once he learns how his swing is working and what the pitchers are trying to do to him, watch out because there's been only two guys I think that the White Sox have 100% belief that this guy's going to be a great hitter. They think Luis Robert is going to be a superstar.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they think that Andrew Vaughn's going to be a subliminal hitter. He's going to be not subliminal, a sublime hitter. And that's why they're not including him in any trade talks. They think that he's going to be a top level hitter. And there are very few times where they're wrong about a person. They're like, okay, this guy is going to be great.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think that honestly, I feel a little bit more positive about Vaughn's potential than Eloy. Like I know that Eloy, we had Teresi saying he's going to hit 74 home runs this year. I don't know about that, but like I've seen more. I think patience and Steve Stone talks about Vaughn's balance at the plate. I really do think that you're right about that. I think if they have two guys that they're really thinking that are going to explode, I think, or be really solid hitters. You can look at Robert and you can look at Vaughn. And to talk about him transitioning to the outfield, the guy that we were mentioning, Adam Engel, like he was extremely impressed by his ability just to be a lifelong infielder and then do what he did out there. Because I know people are worried about his true top level, but he wasn't a liability out there. He wasn't great. He wasn't above average, but he wasn't a liability, Vaughn out in right field. So that was at least great to see. And this is to clean up my Engel stuff from Daryl Van Schouwen back on March 18th. Adam Engel had a torn labrum repaired on left shoulder after season, had 5 anchors put in, ramping up slowly, and will be ready for opening day. He said, probably full go now, just not pushing it yet. I could play today, a matter of making sure we're smart about it. So that was the Engel stuff there. But let's go into the Vaughn stuff because you mentioned his slugging being under 400. He started really, falling off the table after August 19th last year. After August 19th last year, he did not have an extra base hit. And through that point, 105 games, he was slashing 263, 335, and 462 for an OPS of 797. That's dangerous stuff right there. I mean, at the point, in August, he was one of the Sox most reliable hitters from July to August. It was, I do think the Sox have a true future superstar in their hand, at least bat-wise. It's just, where is he going to play positionally?
Yeah, and I remember it coincided with me being like on Sox Twitter, yeah, we can give him away for Adam Frazier, and I still get killed for that, whatever. And everybody was like, hell no, hell no, hell no, you're an idiot, Herb, hell no. Andrew Vaughn's going to be this, that, and the other. I was like, and then the explosion you just talked about happened pretty much not the same time. It took a couple days, but after that, people just like, you were saying, Herb, you wouldn't give away Andrew Vaughn, you idiot. I mean, you can leave the idiot out there, but you could always talk to me and say about my mistakes. I'll celebrate my wins because of my mistakes, man. People let me know. But yeah, Andrew Vaughn, I think, is going to be pretty decent as a hitter. And like you said, he adapts to wherever they put him. I think he got asked, like, hey, would you play second? Would you play third? He's like, yeah, wherever they want to play, I'm in. Put me in the field. I'm ready to play, coach.
Absolutely. Thank you, John Fogerty, for that one.
I messed the lyrics up. He's rolling off over in his grave. I don't even think he's dead.
R.I.P. Sky Point for John Fogerty, even though he's not dead. R.I.P. King. Let's talk about first off. Did you see? I want to just stay on the outfielder talk. Did you see the bobbleheads that they're releasing?
I did. Really nice.
I love the fact that they use 5 different jerseys. The TA one has the Field of Dreams one. The Paul Konerka one has the 83 ones. You got the classic homes for Eloy and Luis Robert out there. You got the Southside Liam Hendricks bobblehead, which is sick. And then the classic black jersey for Grandal. If you had to pick one of these, what game are you going to pick up the bobblehead?
I think I'm already going to the Baltimore game. So
nice.
Was it June 25th?
Yeah, June 25th for the Robert and Eloy one.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, man, what a great pick, because Courtney got me a 6-pack holiday pack, just individual single tickets for me to go to the game when I wanted to. And with this schedule that we have, I was mindful that I can't really do them on Monday through Friday. games. So I was like, all the games like on Friday that they're available on the holiday pack, I was like, I don't like that one. So I picked a couple in April, thinking that these games would get canceled because I was like, there's no way they're going to play before May. But I picked I think the Twins series, and I picked the Rays, and then I saw the game July 25th, and then when they started talking about maybe Correa going to Baltimore or something like that, I was like, oh man, I can see that. Chris Bryant went to the Rockies, so why wouldn't he go there? And then Correa went to the damn Twins, the weird ass Minnesota Twins, and I was like, okay, they got some stars out there in Baltimore. I would love to see those guys here at Chicago, because while they're not a contender this year, I want to see them when they're ascending to greatness. So I bought one just to go to Baltimore, just see Baltimore's game versus the White Sox. And I was like, man, they put my game for the best bobblehead they got, because that is a pimp ass bobblehead with Eloy just folding his hands, looking disgustedly at Luis Robert, who while he's in his left field position from a couple of years ago. Be awesome. That was just the awesome moment back then when that happened.
And I love the gold glove touch too. That part's great. And also, if you're going to that race series, you're going on April 16th because you should be there for the Hendricks one too.
Is that a Friday or a Saturday?
It's a Saturday.
Yes, I'm going to the Saturday game.
There you go. Yeah, because the April 15th one is Jackie Robinson Day. So I was thinking about going to that one. I think I'm going May 13th. I want to go check out the Yankees. I might go that day. So see me out at the park on that one.
Is that the Tim bobblehead?
No, the Tim one was the 14th. I was looking at May 13th, but maybe I'll go on the 14th because I got to get my TA one, right? Because I got the Stick Talk one. So
have you got a uniform yet that says Anderson on it?
No, but I was gonna if they announced the lifetime contract like I thought they were going to today. We just got the movie that you talked about. I would have bought it right away. And also, I've been waiting for a Field of Dreams one. Give me a Field of Dreams Anderson jersey. That's the one that I want. But even then,
you're never going to get traded. So just put the 7 on there and put Anderson on there. It'll be probably much cheaper than doing your own one and changing the number.
Probably. And we could get a real classic TA one and get a number 12 one because Jimmy Rollins was so damn good.
And we're going to get him in studio one of these shows
TA
during the season. Yeah,
or Jimmy Rollins.
No, both. Because Jimmy Rollins got us Drake LaRoche which got us Adam LaRoche off the team. Right. Which is a good thing. TA.
Yeah, no, we'll get TA. We'll get TA on the studio,
and he'll sign your jersey.
Let's do it. I love future Herb. You call Uncle Herb, just like Miss Cleo. He'll tell you the future.
Call me now. Yes, and definitely we're gonna go on opening day and introduce ourselves, and you're gonna be like, "Hey, Sean Anderson,
let's go.
I like your name." Well, you guys are about the same age too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he's a little bit older than me. But
and then we'll invite him to, and he'll be like, "Oh, sure, I'll go. Let's go.
Come on, it's in the West Loop. It's 15 minutes away. Let's jump into our final discussion talk. Yoelqui Cespedes. Let's talk about him real quick because we're talking about these young outfielders. Oscar Colas has made his debut as well. Yoelqui Cespedes has made his debut in spring training. I also have Mike Rodolfo, who's been great so far for the Sox in spring training. But let's start with Cespedes' half-brother, Yoelqui. 2 home runs. Vinny mentioned he threw out a runner at third base as well. And Tony, I think, is playing him again against the Dodgers today. So what's your first impression so far of Yoelqui?
Looks exactly like his brother. Like the finish on his swing, the build, all that stuff. It looks like his brother. Very impressive. Early in his spring training career. Nice stroke, nice ball to bat skills. You could track him in center field, even though I think he had troubles with one where he came in and then finally found where the ball was in the Arizona sky. It's kind of hard if you haven't been out there a lot. But I think I would like to see a full year, either at AA or AAA, of him just smashing. Not just a full year of him being there, him dominating. He's a little older. I think he's going to be, or he is 24 right now.
Right.
But I would love to see him just feel like, okay, I can do this. Because he has only had 75 games last year between AA and single A. Go for a whole year where you're just grinding, getting at bats up, and making sure that the strikeouts stay down, the walks come up, the eye is a little bit better. And then, yes, I would entertain him taking over in right field, because if this is the player that he's going to pretend or is going to be to be, I will have that guy as the next right fielder, because he looks the part. His brother was a solid contributor for what he did in Oakland, Boston, and with the Mets. And too bad that pig took him out, or else my man Ioannis would have been doing things. Is he still getting paid by the Mets, by the way? Is he on the
Probably.
Mets still?
I could check that out for you.
Yeah.
Steven's got a
So
question for you, I think.
that'll be really great to have Ioannis Cespedes' brother to be like him. If you get a diet, Ioannis would be even better. I would take that too, because at least he'll stay healthy and stop effing with those pigs.
Herb, do you think maybe Yolke doing so well is why we're not seeing a Michael Conforto signing?
I sure the hell hope not. Like I said, he's had only 1 year in Double-A and Single-A, and 74 games at that. So he didn't play a full season. I don't think he's a major league player as yet. I want a full commitment for somebody who's played major league right field while we're in our championship window to play this year. And if he is down there in Double-A or Triple-A kicking ass, cool, keep him down there. There's no reason to bring him up. Bring him up next year when he's earned the job in Major League camp after a full year in the minor leagues, proving that he can do it. So he gets confidence up. So when he comes up here, he stays up here.
I've not found any info on if Ioannis is still being paid by the Mets or not. So sorry for that. But I think his contract.
By the way, too, I'm sorry. I killed John Fogerty earlier in the day. He's live with us.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
Still, Sky point to Fogerty.
76 years old.
Yeah, you're trying to kill him so early, man. John Fogerty's got a long, long life to live. I think you're right, though. I mean, 74 games is way too little of a sample size for Cespedes. And he played really well in single-A ball down in Winston-Salem, 850 OPS, 56 strikeouts to 13 walks, which isn't great. But you see him rise up. He goes to Birmingham, plays 29 games, 27 strikeouts to 3 walks. He has a 744 OPS. So I think that Cespedes does need more time. I think AAA might be aggressive. I think putting him in AAA to start the year might be too aggressive. But he's showing out right now. I mean, maybe he'll earn a spot because him in Charlotte, I mean, that ballpark lets out a lot of balls. So, I mean, he could be a real power show down there in Charlotte. So I do think it's a little bit too early for him to even be, if they start him in AAA, I think I honestly will be a little bit surprised, but he might earn it at this point. But, there is the good with the bad with him, even in spring training. He's got 3 hits, 2 of them home runs, and then he's also got 3 strikeouts and no walks. So, six at bats so far, and he's really gone the gamut of, either living or dying by, the hitting or striking out. So, it is nice to see so far, but I don't think it's a big enough sample size for him to even earn a AAA spot at the current moment.
And while we're talking about him, he actually just singled and stole second.
Oh, well, there we go. Maybe he heard me. He heard me, Herb. He's trying to get to that AAA roster. Mike Rodolfo is in AAA last year playing right field. He's out of options, but he's been hitting the cover off the ball so far in spring training. What's your thoughts on Rodolfo?
I would love for him to be on another team because the White Sox have 0 at bats for him. 0. It's not because of the player. I want him to go to Pittsburgh or Cincinnati now, who's purging all their good talent off their team. Get 150 games for Michael Rodolfo. Get 150 games for Blake Rutherford on a different team. Teams that are not competing. I think they'll be major league players, low-level major league players who are doing well for another team. We can't give Michael Rodolfo the at-bats that he wants because we're not here to see Michael Rodolfo progress in the major leagues and learn at the major league level. We're here to win games. That's why I'm kind of mad that we still haven't got a right fielder to do that. So I want all these guys who are blocked by other White Sox outfielders who were Eloy and Luis Robert not going to ever move from their positions in the next, 5 or 6 years. They're going to be locked in there. So Blake Rutherford, Luis Gonzalez, Michael Rodolfo, all these guys, Luis Basabe, who's back for some damn reason. All you guys, go to some other team. And Michael Rodolfo, I hope it's not just you can't go back down to AAA. Somebody picks you up on waivers. I hope the White Sox get something for you because you've been in the 9-10 years into the system. He was signed with his 16-year-old kid, 2nd overall international draft pick. or an international pick, he's been with the organization for a long time. He's progressed his body in a major way. He was a skinny, lanky kid, kind of Alexei Ramirez way, and now he looks like Luis Robert. He looks like a running back in the NFL. I hope he gets a chance to play for some other team where he can show his wares and be the guy that just runs into 30 home runs, probably strikes out 200 plus times, but he gives you that power, and you're like, oh man, Miker, yeah, I love the power, and he's hitting a $185.
Yeah, I don't know if the ship. We got blank name saying the ship has sailed on Adolfo. I think it's sailed for the White Sox, but him as an MLB player, I mean, he still hasn't gotten a chance. And Jorge Soler just got paid, so I mean, I could see him having a similar, kind of play out to his career as Soler. So what do you think about this? Because we got to wrap up the show. I think Colas will probably start in Double-A. Cespedes is either Double-A or Triple-A, and then Adolfo will be on a different team. Do you agree?
Yeah, that sounds reasonable. It sounds like what's going to happen. And I wish nothing but the best. I'll be cheering for Michael Adolfo on another team, as long as it's not an American League Central team like the Guardians, who give him some at bats. Those jerks.
Right, or the Royals. They take that. Soler worked for them once, so maybe they'll just get Soler light and get Adolfo. One more trivia thing for you before we wrap this up. 3 players have 20+ career home runs for both the White Sox and Dodgers. Can you name them?
20+ home runs. Robin Ventura.
Nope.
Damn it. I know he played for him. Paul Konerko only played a little bit for the Dodgers, so I'll say no, it's not him.
Not Paulie.
Let's see.
Your guy Robin had 10 homers with the Dodgers.
Dodgers. He was at the end of his career. It was
one of them's a current player.
A current player. Dodger. Damn it. I'm trying to. Not Joe Kelly. Damn it.
No homers for him.
Who would the White Sox have from the damn Dodgers?
Come on,
Oh, yes, Monty Grandal. God
there
damn
you
it.
Go. One of the guys is from the 05 team. You're one of your favorite guys. You and Tanny's one of your favorite guys.
Dodger. Favorite guy. Not Aaron Rowan.
Nope.
That's the answer for everyone. Oh, is it not Anthony John Brzezinski?
No.
He didn't play for them.
You give up? You're used to a guy. You're used to a guy. Their rivals announcer saying his name. Maybe that's a good enough clue.
A rival announcers.
John Miller.
So he was a Giant too.
Yeah, I think so. Juan Uribe.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
And then Dick Allen.
He's gonna kill me.
Dick Allen also had 20 home runs for the Sox and Dodgers.
So kill me. He loves Juan Uribe. I don't love Juan Uribe as much as he does, but yeah, he had a good career. And that's we're having a discussion with the Cubs guy. That's what the Cubs could do for their people who don't make it to the Hall of Fame or don't get their numbers retired by the Cubs. They could do a statue with one of the players on the top of the list, like Anthony Rizzo.
Right, absolutely.
Like how the White Sox have Juan Uribe and Jeff Blum on their statue.
Absolutely, and that's such a great park, thing to walk up to all the time. It's one of my favorite things to see at Sox Park. Thanks for joining us, Herb. Down from What's that?
Did your family get a brick?
No, I didn't get a brick. No, we're too poor for that. Come on, that's big money stuff.
It's like $200.
My family isn't that into White Sox baseball. They're White Sox fans, but especially me being a Cubs fan for the first 7 years of my life. I don't know if I endeared myself to the Sox fans in my family. But Herb, thank you for joining us in Nashville. You can follow Herb down on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. Don't follow him down in Nashville. That'd be weird. But enjoy your time, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. All right.
All right.
All right. Thank you, Herb. We also got to thank Vinnie. You can follow Vinnie on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. You can follow the show at CHGO_White Sox. And you can follow CHGO Sports at CHGO_Sports. We have been produced today by my guy, Stephen Nicholas. I got it right because I've been practicing it for the hour after bets because I called him Scott twice on the podcast by mistake, so I felt bad for that. So thank you, Stephen Nicholas, for your great producing work, and thank you all to watching and participating in the live chat. I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. We'll have Vinny and Herb back on the show tomorrow, and we will talk to you about more White Sox ongoing here on the CHGO White Sox podcast.